friends. This is the craft that we're going to be making today to remind us of Transfiguration, the time when Jesus climbed the mountain with 3 of his disciples, and when he was up there, he revealed his glory. He gave Peter, James, and John a little glimpse of the glory that Jesus is. And so you'll be able to plug this in, and the light will make him glow a little bit more than the surroundings. And I hope it will remind you of what we studied today. So let's get started. Well, first off, let's see what's in our craft bag this week. We've got a wax paper bag full of items. We have a piece of cardboard cut in the shape of an oval. And then we have a piece of paper with Jesus on it. And you'll notice this paper. Can you see my hand through there? It's a transparent or translucent paper. It's called vellum. And it's a really nice surface to work on. You can see things through it. And that's what we'll be building this craft on today. In our little wax paper bag, you will find some of the other items we'll be using. One of them is our little night light bulb, and it has an on-off switch, like that. Then there's another really strange little contraption that I've sort of pieced together for you. This is going to snap around right under the bulb itself, and I've attached 2 bobby pins to it. They're going to be what supports this cardboard structure. So it will all come together in the end. The other things we've got in this bag are a purple glue stick and lots of little pieces of paper. Now this paper is called rice paper or mulberry paper, and it's sort of translucent itself, but you can see I've got different colors here. And it's got fibers in it that are just kind of add a little interest to it. So that's what we're going to be gluing around Jesus today to sort of impede the flow of light so that he'll really glow. So let's get started. So one of the first things I want you to do before we start gluing on these pieces of mulberry paper is to look at your vellum drawing of Jesus. And if it's not apparent to you, you might try flipping it over. There's what I'm looking for. Can you see a very thin red line here? That's sort of to define the areas that I want you to keep our rice paper away from. So it's sort of saying, don't go past the red line. So like we'll put our piece of paper right there on the outside of that outline of Jesus. So the red is just sort of a guideline, and it's actually telling you which side of the paper we'll be working on. You're going to need a pair of scissors because it's just going to help if you want to put a piece of paper there. You want to be able to cut that off. So what I'm going to do to start is open up my glue stick. And I'm just going to do a small area. I'm going to go right up to that red line. And it doesn't matter how far out you go because we're going to be cutting off around the edges of the oval. But once you've got a little bit of glue down and you've kind of got an idea of what colors you want to be using, let's see, I'm going to start with a little piece of pink. And I'm going to take my scissors and cut it right there. There we go, kind of slide it up. And you've got a pretty thick edge here that you're working with, so it can overlap that edge a little bit. Let's put this piece, how about right about there? That looks good. Take my scissors, trim it there, press it down, and we can cut off a little of this excess. So I'm going to go around staying outside. Let's see, here's a really tricky part. It's a very narrow area up here in Jesus' armpit. So I'm All right, I'm going to try and get into Jesus's armpit here. I'm laughing because I just tried this a minute ago and it did not go well. So I'm going to try it again this time and see if I can get that little area filled with a piece of paper here. So I'm going to find one that's sort of pointed. If it's not pointed enough, I'm going to make it a little more pointed. How about that? Trim it off before I even try it. And just try to fit a piece right in there. I don't want it to be too long because there we go. And then how about right here? So it's okay if your paper overlaps. It's okay. This is just trying to cover up a little bit so Jesus will glow a little bit more. Here's another area. Let's try. How about right in there? Let's see if we can find a piece that would fit in that spot. Oh, I haven't done any purple yet. What about that? That sort of fits in there. It's sort of like putting a very forgiving puzzle together. And essentially, you're going to go around the outside of Jesus and put this paper down all around. And eventually, let me show you the back of my finished one here. You can see it's kind of rough looking. Can you see where it's overlapping here? And just have little pieces and parts filling in. Well, that's what yours will look like when you're finished. But just make sure you've got all of this covered up. All right? Let me do a little bit more on this one and then we'll get back and I'll show you what to do with it when you're finished. All right, I've made a nice mess with my paper here. I did a lot of kind of cutting and taping and gluing, and then I'd cut and then I'd glue, and I think I've got everything just about finished on half of my nightlight luminary thing. So what I'm going to do now is take my piece of cardboard and glue it down just like that. So I'm going to get a little piece of paper here to do my glue on. Now hopefully you will finish all of your Jesus, but I just decided to do half because it takes a little while. You've got to be patient doing this particular craft. And I'm just going to put my glue all around the edges, and I put a piece of paper down to protect my tabletop. And then this just should, you might want to line it up down there at the bottom more or less, and then see if it goes around just like that. Press it down. And then the last thing we're going to do, leave this side up so you can see what you're doing, is go around and just trim off the edges here, following your cardboard. And when you're finished, come back and I'll show you how to add it to the light bulb. All right, I've trimmed around the edges and it still looks kind of rough on this side, but when I flip it over, you can see it looks a lot better. It's a lot cleaner. I've got a couple of areas there you can see where the mulberry paper is poking in. I'll go back and trim that up. But I did want to take this moment to show you how to attach this to your light. What we're going to do is, this is the little clamp that's going to go around your light bulb. So that means this side is the front, okay? This way. So what we're going to do is, I've got that little circular part in the back at the bottom. I've got the front of my luminary facing up, and I'm just going to slide my two bobby pins right around my cardboard. Can you see? Let's see if it'll feed on there nicely for me. There we go. That one's not quite on. There we go. And then get it level. I think I put so much glue on that bobby pin. There we go. Then I'm going to sort of center it like that. So it's on good and tight now. And then when I flip it over to the messy side, I've got my little clasp right there. So we might as well go on with the good side facing down, the messy side facing up. We're going to take, this is your on-off switch for your light bulb. I'm going to put that facing down, and I'm going to feed this little clip into this tiny little neck of the light, of the bulb, right there, and I'm going to give it a press. And you can see it's right there, wrapped tightly in front of the light. So when you plug this into an outlet and turn the button on, it should glow for you. Now I will give a little warning here. I would not use this as a light bulb and leave it unattended, because you're dealing with a paper product here, and heat comes off of light bulbs, as you probably know. So enjoy it, use it, but I wouldn't turn it on at night and then fall asleep, because that might not be a safe thing to do. I hope you've enjoyed this craft, and I hope you enjoy watching Jesus glow in the dark. And we'll see you soon. Bye.